to go? Yeah. As you know, the country is experiencing a series of extreme weather events. People all over the country are facing disruption and inconvenience. Tomorrow we will face extremely hazardous conditions. Last night we had significant snowfall, and today there are freezing conditions across the country, and tomorrow we anticipate exceptional blizzard-like conditions. I want to reassure everyone at home and those still at work that I've directed that the full resources of the state should make every effort to ensure the safety and welfare of our people. That includes our local authorities, the health services and Garda Síochána, with the support of the Defence Forces. Our main concern is that the forecast for Thursday night and Friday. Storm Emma is coming up from the south and will meet polar air from the east. It'll give rise to heavy snowfalls combined with strong winds of up to 100 kilometres per hour. These conditions will start at approximately 4 p.m. tomorrow and spread northwards across Munster and Leinster. Met Éireann has issued a red level warning for blizzard-like conditions in Munster and Leinster from 4 o'clock tomorrow afternoon to noon on Friday. Having considered this serious warning, the National Emergency Coordination Group has advised that people should not venture out of doors while the red level warning is in place. Once again, that's between 4 o'clock tomorrow and 12 noon on Friday in Munster and Leinster. Given the disruption to transport, public safety risks and the need to get home safely before blizzard-like conditions hit Munster and Leinster, all schools, all colleges and all third-level institutions in the red areas will be closed tomorrow. They will stay closed on Friday because the conditions in those red areas will remain severe. Decisions on school closures in Connacht and Ulster will be made locally at school level, and the situation in Connacht and Ulster will be kept under constant review. Public transport will be seriously disrupted tomorrow. Specifically, Dublin Bus will not operate, Bus Éireann and Local Link in Munster and Leinster will not operate, and most private bus companies will not be operating either. Irish Rail will run services tomorrow morning, but services will wind down from 12 noon and 2 p.m. Lewis will run a limited service up until lunchtime. Most importantly, people need to be back safe and sound in their homes no later than 4 o'clock tomorrow in Munster and Leinster. Employers should assess whether it's safe or even necessary for them to open, and whether it is safe for their staff to travel to and from work. Government departments, offices and agencies which don't provide essential services will close on Thursday and Friday in Leinster and Munster. Departments and agencies which do provide essential services will advise their own staff accordingly. We urge everyone, families, businesses, farmers, fishermen, to heed this advice and to plan ahead for tomorrow's red level warning. I want to thank all of our teams, the local authorities and Garda Síochána, the Defence Forces and state agencies for their work done today to keep transport and other services going and to keep people safe. I'm particularly conscious of people who are homeless at this time, and I want to thank all of those in local government and in the voluntary outreach organisations for making sure that everyone who needs shelter has access to shelter, food and heat. And I want to remind everyone to think of their elderly and vulnerable neighbours, especially people who are living alone. It was really encouraging to see our strong sense of community as we look out for one another at times like this in the past, and I'm sure it'll be no different this time. We have not experienced blizzard-like conditions like this since 1982, but the reports from that time remind us of the serious and life-threatening conditions that can be posed by heavy snow and strong winds when they come together. The public is advised to monitor Met Éireann and check gov.ie for all information, links and further updates. And most importantly, stay safe. Thank you.
Sorry, thank you. I suppose what all I want to really say is to let everybody know that our primary concern is the welfare of people. And to that end, we moved yesterday to tell people about two payments from my own Department of Social Protection, which are the exceptional needs payments and the urgent needs payments. And this morning, having consulted with An Post to make sure that we could actually deliver it effectively in a timely manner, we announced a double payment of the fuel allowance, which will hopefully give some help to some 338,000 families. But there are also other people who won't be in receipt of fuel allowance that may experience some difficulty this week. So I'd like to reiterate, we have an urgent needs payment and an exceptional needs payment, and anybody who finds himself in difficulty to please contact the department or their local community welfare office, and we're only very happy to help. The bulk payment, we started a new initiative in the department this year, having been asked by the likes of Age Action to, instead of making weekly payments with regard to the fuel allowance, to pay it twice into 2 bulks to allow people to take advantage of bulk buying. The second payment was made to those bulk payment recipients last week, so hopefully people who are bulk buying will be in a position obviously to be able to take advantage of that and to stock up. But as again, just to reiterate, we have an urgent needs payment and an exceptional needs payment to help anybody who finds themselves in difficulty for the next couple of days. Our primary concern is people's welfare. We want to make sure that they're warm and have enough food in their households to get through what is obviously an exceptional period for us all. So please contact the local community welfare offices.
Thank you very much. I'd just like to say, first of all, we're in a very serious situation, as everybody realises, and we've taken some fairly dramatic measures in response to that. And I think the public fully understands the seriousness of the situation and is responding in kind. I'd like to, first of all, thank very much indeed the public transport staff for their fantastic efforts in the last day, today, for keeping public transport going. It's been a very, very difficult day for them, but we've seen really great success in keeping the buses, Lewis, trains, the DART, and every other public transport vehicles on the road. And I'd like to very much thank them for that. That doesn't mean that they're going to be on the road forever, and as the Taoiseach said, there's going to be serious disruption tomorrow, but it's going to be controlled disruption. It's going to be disruption by the decision of the operators themselves. And as a result, Dublin Bus will only operate until 10 this evening. And that is obviously because not only the public must get home, but the staff obviously have to get home as well. And all school buses have been cancelled in all 5 counties. Tomorrow, as everybody knows, the schools will be closed, and the drama of the situation, the difficulties faced would be, I suppose, represented best by me saying that there are going to be 25 centimetres of snow tomorrow that's anticipated, and 40 by Friday at lunchtime. That's an almost unprecedented situation, and that's the reason why most public transport will be off tomorrow, although the Lewis and Irish Rail will operate until sometime around lunchtime, and then they'll probably come off the road after that. But we will have blizzard conditions, which presents a real challenge to people. And I'd like to reiterate what the Taoiseach and Minister Doherty have said, which is that people must stay at home at the time of the blizzard and at the time of that red warning. We'll have public transport back as soon as it is safe. And the safety of the public and the safety of the staff is paramount. We'll have it back as soon as we can after the blizzard eases. Thank you.
Are you confident that the country is prepared for tomorrow and for this unprecedented weather that's on the way?
Yeah, I'm confident that we can be prepared as we possibly can be. But I would ask people to bear in mind that there is going to be disruption, and in some places, power lines may come down. In other places, roads will be impassable. And while we have the staff and equipment to put the power lines back up, or to repair broken pipes, or to clear the roads, we can't risk their safety either. So the essential advice in the red areas in Leinster and Munster that applies from 4 p.m. tomorrow until 12 noon on Friday is going to apply to staff as well. We're not going to risk their health and safety either. So it's going to take well into Friday, if not into the weekend, to get things operating back to normal. But the most important thing is that people stay safe and look out for each other.
Taoiseach, a feature of previous weather events like this have been daredevils who have taken out the snow despite all the warnings. What would your message be for anybody who might be tempted to use the snow for that kind of activity? And can you maybe give us an idea for the emergency services, if we're talking about blizzard-like conditions, for ambulance, fire crews that need to get out on the road, what's in place for those in scenarios where perhaps heart attacks or incidents like that people might need help?
Yeah, well, the emergency services will continue to respond to healthcare emergencies. So our ambulance service will still operate. There's the helicopter service as well, but they will be constrained in their operations because of the hazardous road conditions and the winds and snow. So certainly we would ask people really only to call on the emergency services in a genuine emergency. That applies to ambulance, fire brigade, but don't be afraid to do so in a genuine emergency. On your first question, I think my earliest memories of a young child actually is the snow of 1982, and I'm not going to tell children not to enjoy the snow when it does happen, but certainly during that period between 4 p.m. Tomorrow and 12 noon on Friday, we're in red alert. Everyone should stay indoors, and we're asking really everyone to heed that warning and not to risk life or risk limb by going out in the snow and engaging in any daredevil activities. Bear in mind, in a blizzard scenario, people may not even be able to see the hand in front of their face, so it could be total whiteout under certain conditions. So it's not the occasion on which to engage in any daredevil activities.
Taoiseach, I remember during Storm Ophelia, people were probably caught a little bit by surprise about the impact of the falling power lines, particularly in wastewater treatment and stuff like that. Are you worried about that this time? And secondly, in relation to the Minister, in relation to the urgent payments and the extreme payments, how much are they, and what have you budgeted for?
In terms of power lines, Storm Ophelia was not quite a hurricane, a little bit short of hurricane force, but it's impossible to predict for sure, but I would anticipate that there'll be less power outages than there was in Storm Ophelia, but we don't know that for sure. So there may well be power lines down. And as I say, we have crews and we have equipment to repair them, but we can't risk the safety and life and limb of those crews, so they will only start repairing power lines if they come down when it's safe to do so. One thing that will be different from Storm Ophelia, of course, is the possibility that water pipes may freeze and burst. I'm told that only happens when temperatures hit kind of -6, -7, which seems to be unlikely, but again, we have to prepare for the possibility that could happen.
George, to answer your question, they're demand-led schemes, so they're like a lot of other schemes we have in the department, so that if people present and they're entitled to it, then they will get it. And so there isn't an obvious cap, but just to give you an example, last year we would have spent maybe about 35 million on exceptional needs payments in the normal capacity of using it, but we also have another humanitarian scheme that obviously looks after particular weather events, and the one that comes to mind is Donegal and the floods. So they're demand-led. People can come, make their case, and we're here to help.
And just if a person does make a case, are they likely to get, I know the extra payment for fuel is 22.50. Yeah. Is it that kind of money that we're talking about if they qualified through this exceptional needs payment?
It very much depends on what it is that they present with, so I wouldn't like to give anybody an indication that it's only X amount of money. So whatever the exceptional need is, and it's different for different people, they'll come, they'll present, they'll make their case, and that we'll respond appropriately.
I might just add to that exceptional needs payments are means tested, but the urgent needs payment is not. So just because you're not in receipt of a social welfare payment doesn't mean that you can't apply, as you can.